Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Angelique Tiffany Tarigan. I am an international business student from School of Business and Management, Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia, with a double degree at ESX School of Management, Paris, France. I'll be presenting my paper titled The Impact of User-Generated Content on Consumer Certainty in Higher Education Institutions' Choices. This study is motivated with a core research question: what is the role of user-generated content on consumer certainty in their choice of higher education institutions? Supporting the study, preliminary studies are done from prior research on similar studies. Studies on user-generated content, higher education marketing, consumer certainty, and quality assurance. Quoting from three main prior studies, Rowland in 2021 mentions that the interactive or participatory web and refers to the ability for everyday media consumers to suddenly turn into producers through the uploading and distribution of self-produced media. And citing from Dobbs in 2018, UGC can be defined as digital media content generated by people outside of professional media institutions, often for no pay, which is made available to public. And lastly, citing from Su et al. In 2021, consumers often combine online with offline channels as a strategy to reduce risk, to support user-generated content marketing strategies in relation to consumer certainty. In conducting the study, a quantitative method through a 30-piece 5-point Likert scale questions on Google Forms is spread online and then analyzed with moderated regression analysis on SPSS with F-Hayes Process 4.2V data. The framework of the study is based on the hypothesis of which user-generated content has significant positive relationship with consumer certainty as the main assumption and expected result of the study. Therefore, it acts as the alternative hypothesis. Then, two more hypotheses are made to support and dig deeper the relationship of user-generated content in this environment, in which it assumes that first, the more standardized quality a university has, the more likely it diminishes the relationship between user-generated content and consumer certainty. And the second, the use of marketer-generated content, the more likely it strengthens the relationship between user-generated content and consumer certainty. With that, the survey is built upon the conceptual framework based on the four main variables into four sections, that is UGC, MGC, SQ, and CC. The result then resulted in a balanced proportion of male and female population, with a majority between the age of 19 to 22 years old, undergraduate students with 1 to 5 million rupiah monthly income. Prior to analyzing the data, a set of validity and reliability test is done, where it is considered to be a reliable study with Cronbach's alpha test on each set of questions, in which each of them are deemed reliable due to its Cronbach's alpha value that is above 0.7. The study is also considered as valid as the majority of sets of items show significance at the 0.05 level. That is the level set as the measure of validity of the study, which indicates that there is a relationship between the items. After the study is deemed as valid and reliable, a factor analysis is done prior to conducting the moderated regression analysis to ensure factors and variables are categorized correctly. According to the hypothesis, there are three variables that affect the dependent variable, that is consumer certainty. However, from the initial factor analysis of all independent variables, it is found that from the set of questions, there are 5 factors acting as the independent variable. There are 5 factors identified with the eigenvalue above 1, as opposed to the initial assumption of 3 factors, that is UGC, MGC, and SQ. However, it can be noted that the inflection point of the discrete plot occurs at factor 4. Therefore, factor 5 can be eliminated further in the study. From the pattern matrix, the 5 factors are composed of the items that can be seen inside the box. Then, to dig deeper into the underlying factors and further defining factor scores, that is to be used as the variables in the regression analysis and further analysis, factor analysis of each sections are done. Using the principal axis factoring, suppressing values below 0.4, we can see that factor loadings of UGC2 are too small. Therefore, the value is not shown, hence UGC2 can be disregarded. After the elimination of UGC2, the factor matrix results to only one factor. Then, this is named and saved as new variable FAUGC. On the other hand, in the section MGC, from the initial result of factor matrix, there are two factors identified. It can also be seen that MGC1 and MGC8 has cross loadings, allowing MGC1 and MGC8 to be eliminated. However, the prior analysis of reliability test, which is seen previously, shows that MGC8 to be a vital item to the set. Therefore, it is not eliminated, and instead, we eliminated MGC1, and therefore the elimination of MGC1 results to only one factor. Meanwhile, sections SQ and CC only resulted into one factor, which indicates that the initial assumption is correct. And the result of these factor scores are saved into four new variables, that is as FAUGC, FAMGC, FASQ, and FACC, resulting to four variables as assumed initially. These four variables are then used as the variables for the moderated regression analysis using the FHAES process 4.2 phi beta. To define variables, especially the moderating factors, the FAUGC and MGC is multiplied to give a factor score of the interaction of FAUGC and MGC. The same with UGC and SQ, in order to measure the interaction between the two variables. Therefore, using linear regression, FAUGC, MGC, SQ, UGC x MGC, and UGC x SQ are set as the independent or X variables, while the dependent variable is FACC, which resulted to R-squared value of 0.371, showing low significance, but it also should be noted that the standard of error is quite high. Therefore, when these results are tested to the main hypothesis, the main hypothesis assumes that there is a significant positive relationship with consumer certainty cannot be accepted, as it fails to reject the null hypothesis, as the significance level of UGC is 0.427, exceeds the 0.05 significance level, which indicates sufficient evidence to support the null hypothesis. The following hypotheses are based on the assumptions that the main hypothesis is true, that there is a relationship between UGC and CC, as it assumes that MGC and SQ acts as moderating factors between said relationship. However, as the main hypothesis is rejected, these hypotheses should too, and hypothesis testing of each hypothesis shows the same. Although each has a quite significant value below 0.05, the absolute p-value exceeds the range of critical value of 2.045 for the set 5% confidence level of the study. Although these hypotheses show that there are no relationship, the coefficients table show otherwise. The last two rows of the coefficient table shows the relationship of UGC x MGC and UGC x SQ as moderating factors, while the first three rows show the relationship of each independent variables to CC, which can be seen that MGC and SQ do in fact has a relationship with CC as independent variables. And the last two rows show that when interacting with UGC, the results change, indicating that UGC do have an impact, although not directly. This results show interesting result where it finds that UGC does not independently have an impact towards CC. However, when interacting with other variables, UGC is significant. Therefore, it shows limitations of the study that insufficient sample results in non-significance. Due to time and accessibility constraints, the respondents participating in the studies is not sufficient to support the hypothesis, as shown with the lack of the t-value. With potential extension of the study to investigate further user-generated content in higher education background as moderating effect, and exploring further the factors of user-generated content itself. In conclusion, there is no direct impact of user-generated content on consumer certainty. However, user-generated content interacts negatively with SQ and positively with MGC. There are possibilities that user-generated content in fact act as moderating factor in this. Thank you.